It's a bear. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the Miami coral cam up, and man, there's some colorful crittles out. Look at that guy. Looked like he had a smile on his face. Well, I guess every day, I was going to say every day above ground is a good day, so he should be smiling, but every day above ground, well, every day in the water is a good day, I guess, too. Well, let's take a look. And by the way, this is a really cool YouTube channel, one of my favorites here, Coral City Cam, Miami's underwater live stream. You can watch it anytime. You get to see some really neat corals and fish and stuff. Well, I'm going to do my own quotes here, stuff that I snipped out of articles, and this is by Tyler Durden from ZH. And it's all a matter of perspective, folks. Think about what's going on right now. I don't think any of you listening out there are looking forward to a Cold War, and as I've been saying, where are all the peacemakers? They don't exist anymore in either of the two-party duopoly that we've got going on here. But Tyler Durden pointed out here in ZH, yet another weekend there have been more killings in Chicago than casualties from the imminent war between Russia and Ukraine. And let that sink in for a moment, folks. We've got the drums of war pounding in D.C. by both parties to a big degree, especially by the so-called party of peace that once were so-called liberals, which are nothing but no less. I'm not going to go there. You know my opinions on that. Lots of perspective here if you think about it. There are more killings in Chicago, and we're talking about another country and going to war or creating a war in another country. I think what we need to do is focus on our own country right now primarily. And let's move another quote here, and this is more business related, and this is from Ted Butler out of his weekly report that he does. Nothing proprietary here. I wouldn't share out of his newsletter his comments, most of his comments, but this is something he talks about all the time, so I don't mind sharing it with you in this quote. And Ted Butler says, "The COMEX is supposed to be an open auction market, not run by a collusive group of manipulating banks, and where not one mining company legitimately hedges." Think about that. That's the primary reason for this market, is for mining companies to hedge, for farmers to hedge, or whatever it may be. It's done for hedging. What we've got going on here and what we've got going on for many decades, that's become more and more recognizable by most folks out there, and the credibility of the CME and the CFTC further declines as more and more people realize this in fact does happen. They allow the big commercial banks to just manipulate the prices downward, only to shake out the large funds that are out there on the other side of the trade. Again, simply to manipulate markets down and make money. And the CME makes money because, of course, they're like the casino. They get a piece of every action that goes on, good nor bad. Good or mostly bad, in my opinion. But let's move along here and see what's going on with prices. And hang on one second, let me increase that screen and go to the next one here. Here's our markets for today. 1896, kind of sideways. It's very confusing, man. I went to COMEX to look and see when COMEX markets were open, or holidays for COMEX markets, holidays for Globex markets. I believe COMEX said that they're closed, but no less, it appears that they're open. But COMEX said they're closed, and Globex markets said they close at a certain time. Not all the markets in COMEX and Globex closed at the same time on President's Day, and I guess on other holidays as well. I noticed that Central Time, it might be 3 o'clock for one market, 2 o'clock for another, and another market is closed entirely the whole day. I'd show you the little calendar that I downloaded from them, but it's confusing to read. No less, just move along and let's see what we see. Some markets open. I don't know which one. World spot prices. We'll look at the 24-hour charts here in a moment, but everything's kind of sideways today. We broke that $1,900 mark earlier last week. I was kind of expecting to see some monkey hammering, and we did last night, actually, in the overnight markets. The same thing with silver. We'll take a look at that in the 24-hour charts, but let's see what's happening. A low of 1888, and again, that to me is the overnight markets where we're going to see some monkey hammering, and we did indeed try to knock it below that 1900 mark. There's a lot of money to be lost with higher gold prices like this and higher silver prices above 24 by big commercial short positions and by COMEXs, not COMEX, and by potentially Bank of America as well, who needs to have silver at 23 or less per ounce and needs to have gold at 1,700 or less per ounce in order not to lose a huge amount of money on that ridiculously oversized derivative they bought last year. And for those of you that were saying, oh man, why was silver down last year? Or, not those of you saying why was silver down last year, for those who are complaining that why was silver down last year, well, if you've been listening to our videos and you've been paying attention, you'll know that both had dumped a huge amount of metals last year on the market, almost a year's worth of silver into 2021's market, and that's why we didn't see silver prices skyrocket. But man, I think they've set themselves up for I think we're set up for a big move upwards here. I've said it, we're going to wake up one morning and it's going to be holy shit day. But again, 1888 the low, 1908 the high, and we'll take a look at the 24-hour market here in a second, and 24-hour charts. Silver, 2372 a low, man, they banged it last night pretty good, and again, 2407 where it kind of sat last Friday, and platinum sitting on the higher end, overall looking pretty good, 1070, the least affected by all three metals, or the smallest swing, it appears, $3.87 or so. But look at that, 1070 and 1084, platinum holding strong, and palladium we don't talk about because hardly anybody buys it. Let's look at the 24-hour charts here real quick, and I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I had a nice, relaxing weekend, got some stuff done, cleaned up a little bit, but man, I just kind of feel a little bit drag-ass today. I don't know about you folks, but let's see what's happening here in the 24-hour charts. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here and give you some music here. Da, 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 da. Hold on one second. I always said I got to have some on-hold music for my coffee sipping. Dead space. Who likes dead space? All right, 24-hour spot gold bid here. Let's take a look, kind of sideways. Here's last night, Sunday night's market, and as you can see, when it opened up here, see when it was closed. Was that New York Globex closed? A little flat line there. We went 1900 to 1908. There's our high, and then overnight, boom, look at that. Take a look at that. Back down to 1895. We're kind of bouncing around. We're just slightly below that level. Again, today's kind of like a haul day at COMEX, so I think markets are kind of be sideways for the rest of the day. Tough to say, though. Maybe they'll just kind of drift downwards, too. There does seem to be, look, there's your down right there, and not much of a slingshot back up, just kind of drifting sideways. Let's see if silver's done the same thing. Yeah, pretty much. You can see last night in last night's market, boom, got hammered last night, likely in the Globex markets. And sideways today for the rest of the day. It's a little bit up here. We're moving to that 2390 point, but tough to say what's going on right now. It's a strange market, but again, it is a holiday market. Well, we can wait and see. Good opportunity still, buy the dips, as I've been saying for quite some time. And I've been doing this a long time. Maybe time has just got away from me. Some people are a little bit impatient. Hey, 2021, you were saying $50 gold, $50 gold. 2021, we thought it was going to go to $50. What happened? Again, we know what happened now. We know that Bank of America dumped a huge amount of precious metals into the markets last year, really saturating the market with physical, and because that's what they bought. And about a year, from what we understand, almost a year's worth of mine supply, silver mine supply directly into the market. So I'm sure that was in the form of 1,000-ounce bars as well. So it's kind of, no wonder we kind of saw markets dump in 2021 and kind of flatten out overall. There you go, right there, folks. So let's take a look at where we're going today, kind of drifting sideways in the silver market as well, 23.80. But, we broached that $24 mark. I'm just kind of curious what happens for the rest of the week. A lot of it's going to be news-driven. As much as I don't think that there's going to be any war, I think that in Ukraine, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. To me, this is just kind of posturing. Not much. This is kind of Putin's Cuban Missile Crisis, so to speak, if you want to put it that way. We had our Cuban Missile Crisis here, and we postured and we said, oh yeah, we're going to go to war, but we didn't fire any shots off. But I think Putin's doing the same thing, that he does not want NATO in his backyard and lined up along the Russian border, and you can't blame him any more than we would want the Russians lined up on the Canadian and the Mexican border. Although I believe that All right, I better not say it. All right. I was going to say it, that the Canadians are worse than Russians, but no, I'm not going to say it. All right. Not Canadians. Canadians are great people. Their government sucks. But not unlike ours, not unlike governments across the world. You know, people are great, governments suck. Let's take a look at, what are we doing here? All right, we're out of the 24-hour charts, and we're going to do what I do best. And I'm going to just, there's not much new to say here as far as product. However, it is the one thing that I do, I believe, better than any of the other YouTube talking heads out there, is I can point you out to what the best products are and what the not so good deals are. Well, you already know what I think of the not so good deals. I'm not even going to mention particular products, i.e. Silver Eagles or Maples, but I'm not going to mention those products. Terrible deals, lovely products, terrible deals at the current premium. It's the best thing out there in silver right now is, again, 100-ounce silver bars. You know, when I say the best thing, I mean, come on, there may be some products out there that are even cheaper. You can buy 40% silver, US 40% silver cheaper than you can buy silver bars. But I'm talking about something tradable, something, you know, a commonly traded item that's recognizable in the industry. And that would be 1-ounce bars, 10-ounce bars, and 100-ounce bars by reputable companies, okay? So if you can buy 1-ounce, 10-ounce, and 100-ounce bars by, you know, any of the reputable generic companies, and you can pick them up for spot plus, well, I think we have 100-ounce bars right now and 10-ounce bars for spot plus $3. We've just lowered our premium 25 cents per ounce, and I'm pretty sure, hold on, is it spot plus 3 or 3 1/4? God, I could stick my foot in my mouth here. But I believe it's spot plus 3 on hundreds for sure. I think spot plus 3 on tens. I better double check that, or 3 1/4. And I believe the 1-ounce bars are spot plus 3 1/4. If not, they are today for sure, because again, I just said it. So I'll let you know tomorrow. But it's best deal out there. Again, I think 10-ounce bars at spot plus $3 are a really good deal. 90% used to be a great deal back some time ago. And a lot of my listeners out there know that I recommend that you buy 90%, or actually trade in your Silver Eagles. It's about, what, 7 months ago, a year ago, I recommended trading in your Silver Eagles to get more silver in the form of 90%. Well, that worked. And now 90% premiums are up quite a bit, folks. I think we can almost do a 90% trade and buy generic 100-ounce bars, or get more silver for your money doing it that way. Trade the premium, get more silver. We've done that trade a few times, and some of you folks have made money by listening to me doing that. So again, best deals out there: generic 1-ounce, generic 10-ounce. Here, we'll just go right down the line. 10-ounce bars, generic 10s, and generic hundreds are the best deals out there. Oh, that's not a 100. That's not a 0. That's a 0, not a 0. That's a 100-ounce bars. There we go. Best deals out there for sure. I happen to have Balcombis and Royal Canadian Mints on hand. I have sold the Sunshine Mint bars. These are all good bars that you see right here, folks. Just buy them from reputable dealers. Try not to buy from a friend of a friend, no matter how well-intentioned, no matter what they believe they bought, because again, there's no substitute for experience when you're buying expensive stuff like this. So those are the best deals in gold. As far as the best deals in, silver, best deals in gold, still by far is going to be the 1-ounce gold bars. 100-ounce gold bars. Yeah, 100-ounce gold bars are the best deal, folks. I wouldn't recommend 100-ounce gold bars unless you just had, unless you had Musk money. That's the only way you could really store them. But 1-ounce gold bars, I do see some of the APMEX branded bars on here. Nothing wrong with APMEX, nothing wrong with the bars that they have, but I would avoid APMEX brands. I would avoid anything that has a company brand on it. A lot of small retailers don't like to resell them, because who would like to resell somebody else's bar with their name on it, another company with their name and their address and phone number all written all over it, which is not the case with APMEX, but still. If I have a retail store, I'm not going to put APMEX bars that have their company name on it out front. They're competitors. Why would another retailer or reseller do that? So most of the time I either wholesale them out, or I just throw them, well, I don't throw them in the melting bin anymore, just wholesale them out at a much cheaper price. Anyways, best deals, again, gold 1-ounce bars. I think that you can pick these suckers up for, like spot plus $73 or less. compared to Krugerrands and Buffaloes and things that are spot plus 100 to 115 bucks over, a much better deal. You can buy a gold bar and an ounce of silver for the same price you could buy a gold eagle for. Maples are a little bit better deal, but still, I like the price point here. It's about $20 an ounce cheaper than even a maple leaf for good gold bars. And as far as resale value go, the resale value on this stuff, you pay a little bit less, you get a little bit less, but it's all relative. When it comes to a point where everyone starts selling their precious metals all at once, everyone's going to get a little bit less. And a buyer's market, premiums are good in precious metals on physical side. Okay, that's the thing. You got to remember, physical. Somebody has to buy and sell it. Somebody has to hold it. There's logistics involved in profits. So that's what premiums are in precious metals when it comes to gold and silver physical. You don't see that in the paper markets because nothing exists really. All you're doing is transferring, data from one place to another in some degree. So in physical it does exist. But in a buyer's market, you're going to see higher premiums on the buy side and the sell side. In a seller's market, say for example, gold and silver get into bubble territory. All of a sudden, a lot of people start coming and selling all at once. You're going to see premiums decline dramatically. So if you own silver eagles or gold eagles, you're not going to get a dime back on them. And again, I also believe once the U.S. Mint starts ramping up productions again, prices of silver eagles are going to drop dramatically. So anyone buying silver eagles now to $8 and $9 and $10 over, it's just insane, folks. I can't tell you enough times how not smart that is. And again, I love the product. Don't get me wrong. I love silver eagles, but paying $850, $950 over is insane. It's not smart. You're not. What are you buying? A collector coin there? No. There's no advantage to it. And anyone that wanted to debate me, to be happy to do it, or give me a call. Come by my store. I'll explain why. So let's move along to see what's happening on stocks here. And well, this is the futures markets, I believe. The stock market is closed. Futures looking kind of pretty dismal out there as well. Everything's in the red. And let's take a look at, I haven't looked at, Bitcoin in a little bit. And, well, there we go. That's not looking too good either. Sorry. Well, there's people out there that know how to play that market. They make money, and kudos to them. But the idea that Bitcoin was going to be like gold and continue to climb up like the price of gold as the government started printing more and more money, and there would be inflation hedge as well, I guess it didn't pan out too well, did it? But no less, it's here to stay, folks. But again, I don't think it's the market that most people think it is. I think it's going to be just a glorified money market to some account. And I got called out by a couple people calling it a bank account like Mr. Munger did. And I know that's probably a little bit behind the times. It's not really a bank account, but no less, I think they're going to regulate it and put it into an area that's just going to be a glorified money market account at some point. And I know there's a limited amount, and I know crypto is so much different than a bank account or a money market account, but I think they're going to relegate it to that at some point. And maybe that's better explanation on my part. And I don't profess to be an expert in this like in Bitcoin, but according to everything we should be seeing, Bitcoin should be back at its $60,000 mark. And especially the hype from a lot of Bitcoiners that were out there, the hype that it would be double the price of gold by now, and it hasn't. The gold's done very well. Silver's done, we'll see. But silver will do better here. Again, a lot of market forces against silver and gold, a lot of manipulation in that market. And you know what? I bet you it happens in Bitcoin now. It really does. The whales are there, man. The whales are in that market. They manipulate all these markets. Anyone that thinks they don't do that with Bitcoin is crazy. Well, let's take a look at what was it? The misery index. The misery index. All right, I'm going to close your eyes. This will get dizzying real quick for some of you. You get motion sickness. United States misery index by month. Misery index is how miserable do you feel? And misery index 11.48 equals unemployment rate, 4 plus inflation rate 7.4. So the inflation rate is 7.48. Anyways, I just put in inflation in here, and without putting in the employment rates. We'll take that out of the equation here. There's Kennedy, there's Johnson, And as you can see, Nixon was starting to see some inflation. This is during when he took us off the gold standard and during the Vietnam War. We were spending a lot of money. We had oil was going up in value, a lot of things going on. Take a look at the end of, is that Nixon? Yeah, that's Nixon's tenure. Take a look at the end of Nixon's tenure, who Ford happens to inherit it. It starts to go down, but take a look at this, Carter. Whoa. What happened, Mr. Carter, man? That's what killed Carter's presidency, is the inflation. Take a look at this. We're going to see some similar patterns here coming up. And as you can see, inflation starts to drop back quite substantially into the 2s and the 4s and the 3s, and even as low as 1.75 there, which was the lowest that we've seen in quite some time, I believe. I don't think I'm wrong on that. Let's take a look. There's Mr. Clinton, who enjoyed a very low inflation rate as well. Oh, look at that, 1.57, 1.44, 1.6. But things do change dramatically, and let's say, where do they start to change here? Oh, look at that. We were in the negative inflation rates, but don't forget, people say, oh, go Obama, look, he was negative in inflation. But folks, this was the 2008 financial collapse. So if that number looks like Obama was a hero, no. 2008 Obama was a zero, man. He got caught off guard as much as anyone there. So, and so did everyone else there, Bush as well. So those low inflation rates have nothing to do with them being heroes. It's actually a big zero. Let me turn that phone off. My apology. I should have done that earlier. And there you go. Sorry about that, folks. I like to usually turn it off before I do these videos, and I'll call that person back. So let's kind of move along down here and look at our inflation rates. It's kind of same, kind of sideways. This is not too positive, but again, we were still, there's negative inflation rates there too. Take a look at this. Trump, here we go. And back down here, and this kind of is looking like the Jimmy Carter days again. What's the odds of Biden getting reelected in 2024 based on these rising inflation rates and the credibility of this party too, especially if this war doesn't occur? The credibility of this administration is going to be blown to hell. Amongst their own. I know it already is against the opposition out there. The credibility of this administration has been blown to hell before the election took place. But the credibility of this administration amongst its own, and they do eat their own, is going to be really, really bad when this inflation rate starts to rise, and the credibility of what they say starts to even get worse and worse and worse. Here, take a look at this as well. Here we go. February 2021, here's this administration right here. Consumer Price Index, the purchasing power of the consumer dollar in the U.S. average city. Look at this, folks. This is a rapid deterioration of the fiat system here. Rapid, all right? And what denotes, well, fiat is not backed by anything. They can endlessly print it, and that's exactly what they've done, all right? So, I mean, the inflation rate, the decline of the buying power of the dollar, it's basically, that's what it is. It's not that the product gets more expensive, it's just the buying power of the dollar gets worse and worse and worse. And, the proof is in the pudding right here. Economic research, this is Fred, St. Louis Fed. This is their own data, folks. This is the current administration. Look at this. Boom. Boom. But, you can't just blame this current administration. Bankers have run this world since 1913. You can actually blame the Fed. And I do for that. Private bankers, we should have had sound money. Ron Paul was talking about sound money in the 70s along with some other politicians. What happened to the sound money advocates out there? Well, I digress. Let me move into Mr. Butler here. Oh, I don't want to, hang on a second. There we go. There's this new article, and I was going to show you something, but I kind of lost it. And it more or less talks about the criminality of the COMEX as well there. And if you're not subscribed to Ted Butler, I highly recommend you do. He's one of the best guys out there, in my opinion. And if you are, especially if you're a talking head in precious metals out there, or you make your money in precious metals, I would highly recommend that you start reading Ted Butler's reports for sure and subscribe. Well, let's take a look at what's going on out there in news world. Again, this is where I got that quote of more people dying in Chicago than there have in or one of the quotes here. Take a look at Portland. In Portland, I think more people died in Portland, Oregon. 1 killed, 5 wounded during Portland protests last night. And think about this too. This is more people than were killed and wounded in Canada during the trucker protest. I mean, come on, man. What the hell is going on here? in Portland, and it doesn't even make the news barely. All right, let's take a look at. But peaceful protests are evil. Protests where people burn stuff down and break into buildings and people get killed or hurt are not evil. What kind of topsy-turvy effing world do we live in? I'm sorry. Whether to recognize separatist publics, I think Putin, actually, this is going to be one of the, I don't believe we're going to see a war whatsoever here. I mean, we're going to see that region heat up, but, Putin went into the Crimea was an important strategic location. Number one, because of the ports and the water surrounding it. Okay. Number two, it also surrounded by very rich oil resources. My understanding, underneath the water near the Crimea. So that was a very strategic location for Russia to say, okay, we're going to just take that over. But sadly, maybe not sadly, and maybe good for Ukraine, that east side of the Russian Donbass region in Ukraine that is pro-Kremlin, pro-Russian, and who is basically, there's a civil war going on in Ukraine is what's basically going on there. But that region, Russia doesn't want it. Russia doesn't want the Donbass region. They don't want it. It's just more mouths to feed. It would be a civil war that would never be ending for them. They don't want it. They would recognize it as a separate conclave or as a separate part of Ukraine, but Russia does not want to annex the Donbass region into their area. It would just be an economic drain in a major way and a never-ending civil war. Putin knows this. He's no dummy. The Crimea was a different story, and Ukraine's never getting back the Crimea. They lost it. It's gone for good. What's the point of fighting over it now? None. All right. But as far as that region over there, Putin is a good chess player, man. I don't think that our current chief of, I don't think our current president even knows the game. He might know how to play checkers at best, and I doubt that. So this man's a good chess player, and he's playing the moves well. This is just plain sad, man. I feel bad for my Canadian friends, man. It's just awful. And look at the stupidity of this. Anyways, I could go on for, oh gosh, this is just sad. All right, don't get me going. Don't get me going. All right, I'm going to move along here to Friday's video, and silver about to blow by 50. And as I said right here, we put for real this time because what happened on Friday, damn it, I put Thursday's video up twice. That's why I put for real this time. But for real this time wasn't $50, silver, the boy that cried wolf, for real this time. So that, but it sure looked like that comment was referring to that. But it was referring to the fact that we did put up the wrong video that day. And I put this up here. We had to take a number, but it does not refer to the thumbnail $50 silver, LOL. Just wanted to clear that up. Also, before commenting on the $50 silver price thumbnail, please watch the video first. And more or less, what I'm pointing out here is that the $50 silver on Friday's video, we're going to wake up as we have with $5. Those of you who've been in this market long enough, $5 silver, $10 silver, $15 silver, $20 silver. And you're going to wake up and say, God, do you remember when it was like $10 or $12? Remember it was like $12 for 5 years, and it just kind of popped back and forth between. It's the same thing you're going to say with 20, and when silver's at 50 and plus, and I believe it will be, we're going to have our oh shit moment in this market for sure. I've seen it before. We're going to see it again, especially with all the shenanigans that are happening in this market. Eventually, as I've said, the dog is going to start wagging the tail again, and the tail being the paper markets, the dog being the physical markets, all right? They've depleted physical markets pretty well. BOFA bought that huge amount of silver and dumped it back out on the market last year. No wonder silver markets were kind of flat and went down from $30 to $20 or so, all right? That explains it right there in a nutshell. No less, that silver was last year sucked up, man. That silver was taken in by retail buyers and taken into the market and probably rebought up by JPM, as Mr. Butler says, that the greatest criminal of all time, in his opinion, in my opinion as well, created the greatest scam of all time by talking BOFA into buying that silver and then buying it back somehow, and BOFA still owes them silver, so they just doubled their position, so they're ready for the upside. They're on the same side as us, unfortunately. After manipulating it so long, they're ready for it to run into the upside. They're going to make a fortune off it, and maybe even put their competitor BOFA out of business. Not out of business, but put them in a rough situation where they might own part of them. Let's take a look at what do we got in comments. Lots of comments here, and I appreciate everybody's comment. And I can't get into, let me kind of reduce that a little bit. There we go. Some people thought my title was a clickbait title. It was not a clickbait title. If you watch the videos, you'll actually understand what I said. And I continue to say we're going to have our $50 moment. Silver's already hit $50 twice in our lifetime, and it's going to do it again. In fact, I think it's going to surpass it this time. I'm just seeing if I can answer any questions here. Boy, a lot of good comments. You can have just as much fun out on my comment page than you can watching my videos. There's a lot of astute people out here, and I'd like to thank everyone, even those of you who I disagree with, okay? Appreciate your questions and your comments. And you can't mess with Bitcoin that's stored in a wallet offline. Yeah, I can't argue with that, Josh. And for some of you folks out there that thinks I'm rough on Bitcoin, I'm not rough on Bitcoin players any more than I'm rough on people that make money in a casino. If you know how to make money, man, you're my hero. But people out there, a lot of people out there got into Bitcoin thinking they were going to be the next billionaire, you know, that get-rich-quick mentality. Maybe they're the ones that screwed up the markets, maybe not. I'm not quite sure, but that's not a good thing, you know, when people think they're going to get rich quick. And that's how that market was presented. Look at all the ads you see on YouTube. Get rich in Bitcoin, get rich in Bitcoin. That certainly didn't help Bitcoin with guys like me, especially. All right. Wealth preservation, different story. Comparing it to gold didn't help as well. Okay, let's see here. Let's see, about to blow, but Mr. Bob Howard, sorry that you feel this as a guy who sell it and wants you to hurry and buy it. Only people saying it are sellers. Just get it 29 first, then you are dreaming. Oh, God, Bob, you're just impatient. Don't worry about it, dude. We're going to get to that $50 mark, and like I said, the next up leg is probably going to be one of those surprise moments. It's going to move real fast. And no less, though, if you got to understand how this market is played, who the players are, how the market's manipulated. And if you don't, Bob, you're going to be disappointed like you are, sir. Hang in there. And thanks for watching, Bob. Even if I disagree with you, I appreciate it. I think I made some comment down here. I did. Rongo. I did say Rongo Bongo. I can't believe I said Rongo. It must have been after a glass of wine. But no less, thanks for commenting still, Bob. Appreciate it. And again, comments are a fun place to be on my page. Everybody is really respectful. And I don't mind people disagreeing with me. As long as it's respectfully done and done in a civil manner, I'm cool with it, you know. And it's pretty funny. Some of this stuff is funny as hell. Take some time to, Dustin says, take some time to study Bitcoin. It takes a good 100 hours, I'd say, before you get a solid grasp of all its fundamental implications. And Dustin, I agree with you. I mean, I've got hours, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and maybe thousands of, not hundreds, but thousands of hours in my business and my expertise. So I'm not going to argue with that, and I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert in any way. But, you know, I do have my issues with it. Hardware wallets cannot be seized by any government. And, yep, and I guess that's to my reply about Canadians locking down people's crypto. You're right, they can't do it in a hard wallet, but they could certainly make it hard for you to get it out of any kind of institution that deals in cash. Again, if I'm wrong there, make a comment. And thanks for that comment too, Dustin. Have a good day, sir. And would it be worth waiting for the Russian fiasco to cool down and buy that potential massive dip? I don't know if it's going to be a massive dip. I think that, and I said it too, I think, as you do, that once this Russian deal turns to be a non-event, they're going to knock gold, I think, maybe down to the 1850, 1870 level at worst, where I think it's going to bounce back dramatically. We're dealing on multi-fronts here, not just Ukraine. We've got inflation. We've got bad, reports coming out, all these government reports. We've got a falling equities market. So, I mean, there's multiple fronts we're dealing with here. But, yeah, buy the dip, Charlie, for sure. Tree climber. Brian, you have me to focus on lowest prices, and yep, exactly. Focus on low prices for good recognizable products, folks. And yeah, war unfortunately always does break out. Again, I'd love to read every one of these, but we could be here a long time. Some really funny stuff here as well. And thank you for all the compliments as well, and thank you for the questions. And now we ride. Appreciate that you stopped in. And again, if you're in my area in South Florida, please come by anytime. And yeah, I had a tough headache there, Sarge. And let me see here. What else? Not too much here. And looking, I mean, when I say not too much, there's tons of stuff here, man. I could spend an hour just talking to each one of you here in the comment section, but kind of looking for some questions. Yeah, I better wait to remember, let's hope a loaf of bread isn't $10. Well, we're going there. I think we're going to $15 gas. I think we're going to $10 bread. I really do, Glenn. But again, that's the reason that gold is a good hedge. You know, think about, and silver, think about a gold piece, a $20 gold piece, which is worth $20 in the 1920s. Has what's that $20 bill worth now? If you had a $20 bill, well, it's worth $20. What would an ounce of gold be worth now? Almost $2,000. So gold has kept up with inflation for sure, and as a wealth preservation, substantially, actually, 100 times, almost. Boy. Well, you know what? People are buzzing me. I hear people calling me. Will dealers buy metal back when the prices go up? I have several local dealers, but when I chat with him, he says he'll buy metal back that's gone up if it's a slow, steady rise and holds the rise. If it goes to 25 on a Tuesday, 35 on a Friday, he's not buying the spikes as it'll back down on Monday. Well, you know what? What your dealer could be doing is if he buys on a Friday at $35 and he doesn't have to hold it, he could lay it off to any of the other wholesalers out there, even if it's at a small discount. Sell it, buy it at 35, sell it for the discount, make his money, and then on Monday, if he wants to buy back silver at a lower price, fine. If it's higher, maybe he should have held it. So, but no, you don't. He doesn't have to hold on to it if it goes down. He can sell that anywhere, Gary Biggs. I think that's a kind of, well, we would. You know, if we have more silver than we need and we don't plan on holding on to a certain amount of ounces, then we lay it off. Even if, you know, and if it's down on Monday, hey, even better. Oh, sanity is something we lack out there, Theta 1. And let's see what else we got going on. Well, I think that's it, folks. I'm going to close it at that. I got tons of people calling me, busy day, even for President's Day. And here's my meme for the year. Think for yourself and question authority. Even question what you think you know. Where did the narrative in your brain come from? Is it yours? Is it your parents? Is it the government's? Is it the news? Or is it your own? Sometimes question your own narrative as well. Well, hey, thanks for watching. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. Happy to help you out with any questions that you have. And remember, folks, if you don't live in South Florida and you can't come to my store, we're brick and mortar only. We do no shipping, no online business, no phone business, only face-to-face business. Again, 10 to 4, Mondays through Fridays. But if you can't come in and see me, I highly recommend you find a good local dealer that's smart and has great prices like we do. We advertise to be at MaxJM and SD Bullion. They're good online companies, highly competitive, but I'm even more competitive, and so should your local dealer be. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.